Hey guys, this is ggurface and I'll be talking about a game between oGsZenio versus ssapo ssapo. Zenio is playing as the red Zerg player at the 12 o'clock position, and ssapo is playing as the yellow Protoss player at the 3 o'clock position. And right off the bat, we do see something interesting. Zenio has scouted in the right direction, and ssapo has decided to expand outside of his base immediately. Probably a pylon gateway or pylon, maybe a forge actually he needs right away. A lot of Protoss players do this because this is a relatively safe choke. You could have two big buildings, whether it be one gateway, or gateway and forge, and then you can put the cannons in the back. That would help and defend a lot of early rushes and aggression. And you also have like a little passage here or somewhere here that you could block off with another building if you so choose, or if the rush is coming on too strong. So this should be a very good game to watch, as a forge is coming up before the gateway. I think that is a very good plan. The Zerg has not yet scouted this, but he might think a proxy pylon is going down or something funny is going to happen. But right now he's going to see that the forge. So at this moment, the Zerg player Zenio has just got word of ssapo's play, and let's see what he's going to do. Let's see if he's going to expand or try to get some early aggression in before he gets his second base down. Additional probes being pumped out for the Protoss player. And the Zerg player, let's see if he's gonna grab that second base or first expansion, or if he's gonna try and do some early pressure, as he has not have this wall in blocked off just yet. Now these next couple of units are gonna be very important to see if he puts down a new hatchery, and I think this probe knows it, and he's gonna see exactly what's gonna come out, whether it be Zerglings or a probe coming out. And we do see the gateway is complete. I mean, the gateway's on the way, but there is still a little gap right here. I think you could sneak some units through. I'm not 100% sure. I think you could, however, block that off with another building if you want to, as the Protoss player. And these Zerglings are coming out, and they should be able to take care of this probe. As we will see, the probe's HP is gonna fall, and we do see a cannon coming up behind the wall in. And at the moment, the Zerg player Zenio has not actually gotten his first expansion yet. He's going to try to do some early pressure versus a Protoss who has expanded early. Very interesting choice there. And this probe is probably going to go down before he can get any more scouting information. And yes, we do see the probe going down there, and the Roach Warden is going up. And this cannon is harassing this Overlord a little bit. Cybernetics core placed over there. That is an interesting choice. It's kind of a little bit close to the edge. I think a little bit too close for comfort. And we do see some Zerglings and some Roaches. Not just yet. The Zerglings are getting their boost, and actually the Roaches are on their way, so we are going to see some early pressure. And there's only one cannon. In order to defend against this, he really needs to put an additional cannon down, and the probe really wants to get inside and see exactly what's happening, and these Zerglings want to deny him, and they do deny him. So I don't think the Protoss player knows about the Roach Warden, yet no, the Protoss player does not know about the Roach Warden, and he's going to put an additional cannon down, and he has this one Zealot blocking the only way in, but he doesn't know that the Zerg player Zenio has not actually expanded yet. So this is 2 base Protoss versus 1 base Zerg, but the Protoss is only doing an economical expansion build, whereas the Zerg is trying to get some early pressure in. Let's see what happens. We do see an additional 2 pylons on each side of the cannon, so there's only 2 cannons so far for the Protoss player. Additional Zerglings being warped in. Let's see how he's going to be able to deal with this. If we take a look at it at this moment, the Zerg probably want to get in here, and the Protoss player, what he needs to do is get some Zealots in here and block it off, or maybe put a building here or here so that he can't get in, because if these units were to get inside, it would be very dangerous. So as that is gonna take place, let's go back slightly, and these 2 cannons are just gonna finish in time. At the moment, the Protoss player only has 1 Zealot, nothing else, and we see quite a number of... and this pylon does block the Zerglings. The Zerglings can't get in, and they're trying to hit the cannon, and the cannon will not go down. So this 1 Zealot is actually not needed, because this 1 pylon was able to save him. And now he's going to try to snipe the forge to prevent any additional cannons from going up, but he's not going to be able to take down the forge, as these cannons do quite a bit of damage. An additional 1 cannon is going up, and this Overlord does spot the Cybernetics core, and he might be able to pick the Cybernetics core off. And we do see a Stargate being built by ssapo. Very interesting choices by both players. And right now, the Zerg player Zenio has decided to take his expansion, knowing that he can't break this early wall in here. And these roaches are desperately trying to take down this cybercore. Would they be able to? Maybe he can get this one slightly ahead. This roach needs to be careful. I think 1 or 2 more shots, he might go down. And ooh, the cybercore looks like it's gonna go down. The ssapo has no units to stop this. The cannons are not in the best position. Oh, and the cybercore does go down. That will set him back slightly, just a bit. And a second expansion, a third base is going up for the Zerg player Zenio. This Overlord being sniped by a friendly Stalker, not so friendly after all. And it will go down, but Zenio is just supply blocked at the moment. He will need to build an Overlord, and yes, he does it right away. And we do see the forces are still gathering at the tower, making sure nothing's come out. And wow, we see a robotics facility as well as a Stargate. This is very, very uncommon. Usually people would just stick to one technology. He hasn't even built anything out of the Stargate. He already has a robo facility. Very, very interesting choices there. 2 facilities with no units. Haven't really seen that at all. And we do see one base is up, the second base is almost complete, the second expansion is almost complete. This probe is patrolling. Gonna spot the overlords for his Stalker. The same probe, another probe is doing patrolling over there as well. And the third probe putting down the cybercore exactly where he actually lost it the first time. And this Phoenix is microing, trying to snipe off the Overlord. Will he be able to? I think this Queen might be in range if the Overlord just moves slightly over a bit more. And is he going to make it a safety? I think this Phoenix should just go in and go for the kill. And let's see if he gets it. I think he would be able to. No, he actually backs off. I think that's a wise decision. The Queen's range is actually very, very long. It's almost like, ooh. And at the moment, ssapo is actually supply blocked. That is not very good, especially when you have so many buildings and not that many units. He has exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 units. And that's a lot of production buildings. The second robotic facility going up. Wow, what is he thinking right now? I really don't know. Maybe he's thinking of going a lot of Immortals. But at the moment, he knows about one base. He doesn't know about this second expansion that the Zerg player Zenio has. So he does have an edge somewhat, or maybe he thinks he have an edge. As we noticed, the pylon that was originally at this position between the Stalker and the Zealot has been taken down, so he does probably feel a little bit more comfortable, and he might be making a move out relatively soon. And we do see weapons upgrade 1 for the ground forces, as well as Glio Constitution for the Zerg player to make the roaches do a little better. And he now spots the expansion, the second expansion for the Zerg player Zenio. Another hatchery going up. This is another uncommon thing for the US servers. Usually people don't put double hatcheries at the same place, but Zerg players tend to do that because I think they have the micro and the macro to manage that. And we do see 3 Phoenixes coming up into the base, and let's see if the Queen's going to be able to do much. I think he can pick up the Queen if he wants to at the moment. A second Queen is coming over. One Overlord does go down, and these Phoenixes do pick up 1 Queen, and this Queen is going, ooh, not going to make it all the way. He does cancel the graviton beam because the second Queen did come over, and he's researching the thermal lance. And is he pumping? Ooh, he's pumping dual Colossus. There's going to be 2 Colossus at a time coming out, along with this 1 weapons upgrade, very, very deadly against Zerglings who have currently 0 upgrades. So he really needs to get those upgrades up. But the population right now is 90. It's about even. Both players awfully close. 2 base Protoss versus 3 base Zerg. And here, if he picks off another Overlord, he might be able to supply block. Probably not, actually. There's a lot of supply, a lot of Overlord. We're just spawning over here. This massive Overlord party. And we do see a pylon going down, and they're gonna push out slowly. And he's gonna finish these 2 Colossus relatively soon. He's gonna have a formidable force. And these units, knowing they can't do very much against this army, is falling back. And always make use of your units, and this is one great way, is to destroy the rocks. Both players are actually going to destroy their respective rocks, as 2 Colossus have spawned, and these Overlords are currently being moved, and more Zerglings and more Roaches. I don't know if that's going to be sufficient. And we do see both these Overlords, a double Overlord Suicide Scout. He's going to be able to get in, and he will see the robotics bay, and he will see that an upgrade has finished or was being done at the moment, and so he will suspect that there's going to be Colossus. Let's see how he responds, and he is getting the correct thing. He's getting Corruptors to deal with the Colossus, and these Phoenix is very, very good against this ground unit, and we do see a couple of Hydralisks coming out to support their friends on the floor. A third expansion, a fourth base going up for Zenio, as he actually has 5 bases. My mistake. 1 queen per base, and always injecting very, very nice macro play from Zenio, the Zerg player. ssapo is now establishing his main base, and he's trying to get his high yield up as well to try to match the Zerg player, because the Zerg has been all pretty much the entire time except for the very beginning. He's been up 1 base. And we do see Ventrial Sax upgrade for the Overlords. That would be interesting to see how that would come into play, as he's going to be able to choose whether or not he's going to be able to fight this army off. A lot of Zerglings and additional Corruptors are coming out to deal with the additional Colossus, and I'm surprised he's only pumping out 1 more Colossus. I would imagine with dual robotics facility he would want 2 Colossus at a time every time. These Corruptors trying to find out exactly where the Colossus are, not quite actually finding them. And here we're going to see a engagement pretty soon. I think you want to put, yeah, the proxy pylon is going down, so he can reinforce right away. What the Zerg needs to do is try not to get force field, but he actually doesn't have any force fields, and he really needs to snipe off these Colossus, and he doesn't want to engage at the moment. I think he knows his forces aren't as great as the Protoss at the moment. He really needs to make a couple of more air units to deal with these Colossus, and he's actually going to go in. We do see the Zerglings fall very, very quickly to the Colossus. 1 Colossus goes down, a second Colossus very close to death, a third Colossus almost full HP, and they are focus firing on these Corruptors, but they're not quick enough. They do get all of the Colossus, and that is the main Protoss army. Now the Protoss is actually falling back because he knows he's lost most of the useful units against this group of Zerg. But I think he might be okay here if he picks up a couple of units, and he might be able to even the scale. But if he were to produce some more forces for both players, wow, that is very, very even battle, I think. But he really needs to make more Immortals, maybe Colossus. Immortals, I don't know if Immortal is the best choice against this Hydralisk and Zergling army, and we do see these Phoenixes not currently being put to great use at the moment. He can probably look around for the Overlords, and we see a lot of Overlords. We might see a drop along with these units very, very soon, as we do see the unit count. It's not that even. It's 150 versus 180. It's a little bit lopsided toward the Zerg, but the Protoss does have some 1 upgrade, whereas the Zerg has 0 upgrades, and now the Zerg has just started to research the upgrades. Ooh, a third robotics facility going down. This robot facility is not doing anything. Oh, now it's making a unit. And we do see that these Overlords are loaded up with Hydralisks. Maybe he's going to drop something by his base relatively soon. This Corruptor is relatively fast. We'll be able to spot if there are units. And these Stalkers do not have blink, so he will not be able to respond to a drop inside the base as well as an attack in the midfield. And right now he's going to be slightly in trouble, but these additional Colossus do show up, and the Hydralisks are inside his base, and he doesn't have anything to deal with it. He does warp in some Stalkers, but these Stalkers are not going to be that great of a match for this Hydralisk and Zergling Doom drop, and he's trying to deal with this, and at the same time, one Colossus goes down because it wasn't with the main army. The second Colossus is going to go down as well, and he lost his main base. The Protoss player ssapo has lost his main base. If he loses the Colossus, he might not be very easy for him to get back into the game, and he's actually focusing all his attention over here. And this Colossus is staying alive, and these Corruptors are coming out. Wow, that's almost just 1 shot kill him. A second volley, a third volley does take down the Colossus. Right now, it's Hydralisk in his main, and his